team hasn't gelled, it could work, but I feel like that's such a high-risk, low-reward strategy compared to what you could do. I'm seeing super leashes where people are doing their small raptors and then having their bottom lane leash their red buff for them and then picking it all up. It's just super fast, and I feel like when you do that for your jungler, he has way more to give to the map.
Also, we saw it throw off. I believe it was Dardoch the other day when he thought he had the upper hand. We saw Smithy just say, actually, I'll take red, and I'm faster than you in the jungle. So it does throw off timings as well. We're on a rumble, and we are going to have that LeBlanc being taken out from the side of FlyQuest. So Niski can't get some assassins under his belt here. What is their last ban? Possibly that AD carry. It is going to be the Zac, however.
So saving Zac for the last ban here, kind of saying, all right, you might as well ban it. But Galio's still on the table. Or sorry, Galio banned away, so Caitlyn is still on the table as that one top pick that kind of makes its way through. The things I'm kind of looking for in champions like now are like the Zac, the Galio, the Caitlyn, the LeBlanc, those four. And I feel like a lot of, like mostly 3 of those champions get picked up by the red side team. But it's interesting that FlyQuest went for a LeBlanc and Galio ban themselves.
You get like the Elise Rek'Sai trade sometimes in there. This one goes over to Envy for that Rek'Sai trade. So Lyra can still play that early game aggression as they swap about their hover for their second pick here.
I think it's Kennen.
Taking a bit of time. The Kennen getting left up actually is one of those ones that can be talked about in the Phase 1 bans. A lot of teams have been putting that to the wayside, and it even goes to the wayside for Envy here. Jhin gets picked up for Apollo.
Yeah.
Been rising in priority.
That makes a lot of sense here. If you pick the Kennen in this position, you'd have to flex it or have the ability to flex it between your AD carry. So then you don't really get counterpicked in the top side of the map.
Right.
We're seeing that more and more for some
ever so slowly
top laners and AD carries.
Lemon Nation did pick up the Tom Kench yesterday. They are going to go through that once again. You can still see him and ThinkCard. ThinkCard looking at the list. He's like, what does your list say? Because my list says this.
That's cheating.
Let's
no looking at other people's papers.
We'll combine and we'll get the best of both worlds. That's the Tom Kench. They feel good as they kind of rest for a moment. They have the time to pick, and the Kennen does fit into FlyQuest's composition.
Yeah, the Kennen there, because they already have their AD carry of the Caitlyn, this will be a Kennen for the top lane most likely. But you think back to even Challenger, when FlyQuest, back then they were C9 Challenger, or qualifying, Hai was playing the mid lane AP Kennen. It's an old pocket pick of his that he brings out sometimes, so we'll see what happens. It's most likely going to the top lane, though, for balls.
That would actually make me really happy. Super throwback. I love seeing stuff like that because it does get super volatile if you can just continuously push somebody out of lane. They hardly have a chance to be under their turret in that matchup of a short lane with Kennen. Jace picked up on the other side here. Could be Niski's, could be Serif's, and that's usually the case. We'll have to see how they flex it around. Nidalee and Kha'Zix banned out as Moon takes a hit in the second phase. And Niski's picks still believed to be on the board. They take away the Syndra.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't have that. Played it yesterday. Pretty good effect.
Yeah.
Played a Cassiopeia game as well. So that's what they've seen from Niski would be those 2 champions. But it's the Braum here. Make sure that it doesn't pair with the Jhin for protection.
I get.
The Thresh is still on the table though, and Hakuho would play Thresh in a heartbeat, but I guess it's not as good of a matchup up against Tom Kench, who can really stop that pick potential late game.
As much as I see the brand, we hardly ever see it. We have, luckily, but it will not get locked in. They still want somewhat of a shield. It won't be a giant door. It'll be one that Hakuho can put on everybody here. And they are going to take that into the bot side. Most likely, I mean, it could still be Niski's mid lane. This is a very big switch up that they could have here.
Yeah, so far it's a double AD composition, or triple if you're counting Rek'Sai there. So the Karma will bring a little bit more to the shielding, but you want an AP mid laner. And I feel like one of the reasons that we stopped seeing Karma was just that people like the playmakers more, but also she got a nerf in 7.12. Her shield, which people stopped maxing first anyway, has 20 less shielding at max rank. And then also on the ultimate, and you use the shield as well, the primary target only gets 30% of the target's shield. So the secondary targets only get 30% instead of 50% of the value of the shield.
Yeah.
So the AoE shield is weaker, and the shield in general is weaker too.
We wondered if that Corki would make his way through for Hai in the mid lane. That means it's Balls Kennen towards the top side. Caitlyn for Wild Turtle, and a final pick here as Envy gets to figure out what Niski goes against this Kennen with, or I'm sorry, this Corki with, and it will be again the Cassiopeia, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Cassiopeia is the other champion that we've seen him play so far in his 3 games. He is 4th. So far, still only 2 champions from Niski, but it's a good matchup for him. It'll work out a little bit in his favor here, but Corki is quite strong right now, especially in the hands of somebody like Hai. He played it as well yesterday, and Didn't really find the win on it, but the champion is still one that we know High loves to play, and he's able to play. So, looking across the board, Ball's on some type of top laner that can carry a bit here. We'll see. He's been performing quite well. He's actually been the most consistent member of FlyQuest so far. Whereas Moon, I like him on this Rengar. It's an old pocket pick of his, or one that he continues to bring out. You know, he's already brought it out once so far this split, or a few times so far this split. But it hasn't really been yielding those results.
Not a lot of the results have shown for FlyQuest that we saw at the beginning of last split. Here we do have High locking in that Corki, as we said. A little bit easier of a lane to farm in from distance. The shot calls might be a little bit easier, relieving pressure off of him to get back to that form where he is micro dictating what everybody does, left and right. Yes, go in. Yes, come out here. We thought that would be a thing that would unlock Wild Turtle to the max. We're still kind of waiting for that Pandora's box to be open because the potential still seems to be there. Just a glimmer right now, small glimmer. Here we are going up FlyQuest versus Envy. As we get onto the Rift, we will see what happens for game 1.
FlyQuest are looking for a win for their confidence here. They're sitting at 1-6 in terms of matches, but they've lost the last 5 games. So even just taking a game off of Envy would help them a whole bunch.
See what the start is. Looks like the pretty easy line of scrimmage with a little bit of love for the Raptors and inventories. Shedding a few more of those Doran shields away and seeing a few more blades and other starts again with that hit to the cost.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, the blade going over for the Caitlyn, and it's funny because people were saying that the reason that the playmaking supports were being played was because of Doran's shield. It got nerfed, and so we're still seeing like Caitlyn with Doran's blade now, and we're seeing the Jhin with the longsword 3 potion start. So it isn't all just because of that. The Warlord's Bloodlust, learning how to use it. Also on top of that, just the fact that the range supports are really nerfed.
So yesterday was a great way to see what Warlord's Bloodlust does if you watch Apollo on Ashe. Absolutely crazy. Kept himself alive in so many situations, from kiting and getting those charges up. So if you really need to be like, does Warlord's Bloodlust work? Watch yesterday. Watch Apollo on Ashe. But right now, it's about what's in front of us. High and Niski seeing each other in lane now as the minions go to meet. No trouble for any of the junglers onto Raptors or their big camps. Pretty safe start, so we'll see if they can actually get a level 2 win. Moon could be on that roll.
Yeah, Moon getting a big leash from his bottom side here, so it's not a super leash where he gets to do the Raptors early, but there was a ward that was placed down. You can see they hit it twice, so Moon knows that he was spotted if he were to start on that camp. So wants to keep his jungle route a little bit hidden.
Sneaky cat.
I like that chroma too. The blades.
Does it make you feel stronger?
It does, actually. It makes it feel like they're empowered.
All the time?
All the time.
And then when it's not, you're like, riot, please. Ooh, missed Hakuo. Gains a bit of brush control again. Instantly going for Turtle every time he can. You can see the heal. A little bit of heal, obviously, at this point in the game.
Yeah, it scales up with level. Like, the Warlord's Bloodlust scales off your AD, but also just the amount of your AD that it takes is based on your level. So it's not very effective early on, and then later on it's about 40% of your AD, which ends up being a massive amount.
Great play by Seraph, just walking turret side to balls and saying, you kind of need to get back to here, but I will prevent that from happening. Yeah, winning HP means balls may have to be careful once he gets this level 3 here. Yeah,
it's quite a good matchup for the Jace. The Jace gets to push you in, and every time you walk up, the auto attack range of the Kennen is about the same as the hammer form Q to the skies of Jace, so you can always jump in and trade very heavily and knock him away, so it's not as much of a counter back. Oh, ate the Q, so he's going to eat a lot of fangs here.
It's going to be a flash E possibly from Balls here if he can tag one and get a good stun depending on who takes the damage first. Very hard. He is going to flash, but it goes into the turret. Can't get a good lightning rush down to get out. First blood going over to Lyra.
And I'm loving this from the junglers here. Lyra actually went for a start where he went from his Raptors to his red to getting the Scuttle Crab, and then he was able to go gank top as a level 3 Rek'Sai. So he had all of his abilities, was able to just pick that up. Really easy, well.
Quick TP back. I like the flash from Balls as well. I was wondering if he was trying to deny auto clicks by getting under the turret, since it makes it a little harder. So Somewhat of a cheeky move there to try and stay alive.
Yeah, it's hard. When you're getting tower dove, there's so many things that you have to consider simultaneously. And Moon, he wanted to counter, and he gets rooted here.
Oh, great deadly flourish. The autos are coming in. There is the flash used already from Hakuo, so he doesn't have too much chase.
Got to make sure he doesn't throw him out into a queue.
Careful. Nice. Lemon Nation walked back so he can get the help, but does it cost him his life? Does not look like he's going to pull the hard skin out just yet. Waits for anything from Apollo, and this is getting scary here on the bot side. Envy is trying to activate immediately. Lyra was just top, and he's already trying to create things bot.
Yeah, Lyra had an experience quint, which gave him level 3 off of doing 2 camps in the Scuttlecraft.
Yep.
Went top, got the gank, and then because Moon was on the top side jungle and did a full clear for level 4, it then takes him a while to get to that bottom side, so he's not there in time, and Hakuho was able to cover that. And that was one of the reasons that people even ran range supports in the first place, was shove advantage.
Yes.
You can shove people in melee versus range matchups, even if they have a Caitlyn, it doesn't matter, and you still win that and shove the minion waves in, so they were able to get there and push up for that.
Wild Turtle played that fantastically. Just a minefield of skills flying left and right over his shoulder. Getting hit with that tether to get locked up eventually. Also seeing this top lane not go very well for Balls. Seraph playing it in such a counter, continuously waiting for Balls to lightning rush. As he walks away, he has no more steroid for speed. It's an easy shock blast, and he's just been doing it over and over.
Yeah, if you're Lyra, I feel like you punish this top lane hard.
Keep going.
You have flash.
Okay.
Your top laner has flash. Their top laner doesn't have flash, but hold on. Moon looking mid.
But if you're Moon, you cut down the snake, make a new pair of shoes. You give that kill over to High. Get him started on the Corki. We haven't seen too much in the mid.
Oh, that's not going to get anything.
Seraph
there,
had a lead in the top lane, and now he might throw that away here. Moon's going to get him with the lockup on the Bola. Moon gets a kill for himself here as Seraph throws himself in.
Yeah, you mess with High Moon, you get the game completely rubber banded back on you. That was something that was way too aggressive from Seraph. He wasn't going to do enough damage against a Rengar with a W there that can heal up. But this was good from Moon. Actually went all the way around the ward, and you can see Jace was already inside of the river, so he felt he was close enough.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that that's kind of just a desync in the team. Right there, jumps in, double W from Moon, which gives him the heal off of the damage, and then also a movement speed burst in the second half. He's able to run away and then kite back in.
That's such a hard commit, too, the flash being down.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be careful where he plays from lane. Seraph may be kind of relegated to just firing Shock Blast, Caster Wave, and then taking it, which could still easily get him favor back.
It's a huge throwaway, too.
It is.
I go back 1 second here and just check. Before Seraph did that play, he was 35 CS to 17. He was double Balls' CS, and then he was going to back. And now Balls has caught up and got about 16 CS in that time, and only gave away a few as Seraph caught them underneath the turret. So really, that was a big throwaway of a lead that Seraph had. Niski was too far forward, and you want to play it to your top side in this, because you already got your top laner's flash, right? Balls had flash down. Easy to dive target when you have flash on both your Jace and your Rek'Sai. I feel like there's just a huge map misplay there.
Just like riding a bike for High. Leveling up his Gatling, 3 levels in that. Niski can't stand toe-to-toe and hit Fangs. Yeah, it's the standstill. If Niski wants to try and stay in it and Fang, High's just going to keep popping him with autos and get even more damage out of the shred.
That is so interesting. Maybe I'm not keeping up with these builds from, or these skill orders from Corki players, because it used to just be Phosphorus Bomb all the time, right?
Even when it got its change where it kind of loops, it was still Frost Bomb.
But the Gatling gun, also it was the changeover from using the Thunderlord's Decree and moving over towards Warlords.
True.
So it's just interesting that these builds are kind of all over the place. I know some people still like Gunblade on him, but I feel like the Trinity Force into Static Shiv, Infinity Edge builds are like the ones that are becoming more and more prevalent.
Still be able to explode somebody almost assassin style if you want. They do go for him top. This flash is down from Seraph's adventure into the mid lane. And now he's just going to have to walk this one out, and they are giving these to Moon.
This is exactly what I thought Envy should have done to FlyQuest after the first gank. But look at this.
Oh, hello! Lyra says. Ball's going to lightning rush away to a 2v1. And just a little pressure, but that means Lyra's vision is topside now. A forced petrifying gaze in mid. High can still fight this upper hand, even with the ulti coming out of Niski. Still have to be careful on both sides. It's an anybody's matchup. But topside, expect it to happen.
Well, Lyra also blew his flash there for damage on the balls, so Envy are kind of throwing things away here. But FlyQuest, that was great by Moon. He's in the right place at the right time, exactly where he needs to be, and it doesn't flinch. It's like,
okay, I would have taken it. If that was balls, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, easy fight there.
Try to turn it. Yeah, I'm looking at some quirky builds. This seems a little bit unorthodox to actually max the E first, so it's interesting from him. A lot of people still going for the phosphorus bomb max, so I'm not completely out of touch with the kids.
You young folks these days.
Yeah.
Shots onto Hakuo. Ooh, nice inner flame there. So he's got the mantra on. Wild Turtle taking a bit of damage. The Soul Flare. And now 3-1 here. Kills have kind of slowed down. The gold is evened out, and that we're waiting for that pressure for Seraph in the top lane to come into play again. We're wondering if he could push balls back, but Moon has been prioritizing top. Looks like they'll give blue to high and then go back at it. Bottom lane has just been saving itself. I mean, it's a Tahm Kench Caitlyn lane. You can trap and devour. There's no need for anybody else to come down here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get here. So yeah, play to your top side of the map.
Why not?
Win that top lane matchup, win that mid lane matchup. And Moon, check on him really quickly because the Rengar minigame of getting those stacks, he's currently at 2 stacks. So once you start hitting 3, that's when it really starts cashing in. Because right now he's got 3 bonus AD plus 3% bonus attack damage, which doesn't amount to much. But when it more than doubles and gets you to 7 and 7 and then 13 and 13, it's much better.
Not an incredibly powerful slicing Maelstrom, but not an AP cannon.
Exactly.
Trying to get those auto attacks.
Look at that damage from high. That's it's interesting because like you don't have to land the phosphorus bomb, and that's what he's going for here a little bit because he's up against a Storm Raider Surge Cassiopeia that'll be able to dodge out on a lot of the damage if you were to throw a phosphorus bomb. So if you're actually putting a lot of your points into the queue, it means that you have to land that ability.
Yeah.
And I think this is actually quite clever from high because it has the resistance shred. It's actually more effective at clearing minions than phosphorus bomb is. So overall, this is really cool to see.
And I mean, from Niski as well, he may have not been the one to make Hai do this, but Hai is thinking, if Niski's going to stand in my face, I'll take these fights. I'm going to have to level Gatling.
Oh.
And Niski gets the flash, petrifying gaze. Lemon is just there off the Abyssal Voyage to stop it from being abysmal. And now Moon's going to get himself.
Oh, he dodged it.
Oh, Lyra gets himself in, cuts down the cat. And now it's going to be Hai. He Valkyries out. Can he have the range? Deadly Flourish has to be flashed. And Hakuo still on the chase. Looks for the Soul Flare under the turret. Denying Hai positioning. That's the damage. That's the slow. Another kill for Lyra as Envy just doesn't quit.
A sick dive there. And also Lyra to pick up those kills. That was incredible. 4-0. He has every kill right now for Envy.
Woo. They just pulled the trigger there. There wasn't a second to wait. Niski with the fast fingers as well to keep himself alive and stop anything from hurting Envy on this one.
Yeah, Lyra plays this beautifully. Whoa! The stun, the knock-up afterwards, and watch this. When he's chasing him down, he actually dodges the Bola root afterwards. He's rooted, doesn't matter, buffers it with the cast time of the ultimate there, and dives down. It's unstoppable during it. And so he gets it off. And then Hakuo, great positioning of the Q to put it there on the turret, which means he can then walk up, shield himself, and that was a great dive there with the Hakuo synergy coming through with Lyra. That was really well played.
Absolutely, turning FlyQuest on their head as well. That's what we expect to see FlyQuest do a lot of the time too. Not lose that one, but be diving second tier turrets, get behind these plays. That's how we saw Moon and Hai get ahead of these games before.
And exactly, and we talked about this at the beginning of the game during that pregame, where FlyQuest are looking for what works, and the stuff from last split isn't working, right? The pocket picks haven't been working. Moon's creative jungle routes haven't been working, so they kind of just put those off to the side. There's some like comfort picks here, but I do feel like the big thing is those skirmishes, because they're not even playing the skirmishes well, right? They have the skirmishes, they go for the plays, but they're blowing up in their face. And that's what I think is really biting FlyQuest here, is they go for those plays. They're bad plays to go for, but they're even executing them poorly.
We wondered what would happen. They kind of just say, let's do top and mid. And they pulled in Lemon Nation and got a little too deep for themselves as they felt safer under the turrets with his dive. So we see that, as you said before, Lyra full kill participation and full kills for himself, 101%.
I am loving the new Rek'Sai, by the way. I didn't like it at first, but over time it just became
I don't think you were the only one.
I know. Over time,
Take some time.
Over time, I was like, okay, you know, it feels different. The single-person knockup, the late game is not that great, but that was Rek'Sai's problem anyway. But now your mid game, you're level 6 and on. It used to be Rek'Sai's like the best jungler, like level 2 or 3 through 5. And then you got 6, and you're like, okay, I have attack speed, but I don't really have a way to... Okay, it's an interesting ultimate. Now, when you hit 6, you don't lose much power. But hold on, speaking of power, Balls, look for a play on Seraph.
Very nice acceleration gate. Gets himself into range. He gets the slow from to the skies on Balls. That could be the last heated up shot that he needs. But it is calculated by FlyQuest as they go in hard.
It depends on how long FlyQuest stay here. They actually don't know where Lyra is, so they're backing off because they see Niski coming up. Lyra, though.
Oh, there's the Ghost.
Yeah, there's Ghost running straight through. Can he hit a Q? He does. There's the ulti.
Slither faster. Gets the hit. Very nicely done. Seeks his prey out. Should say her prey. And Lyra coming up with another kill on Rek'Sai. Actually goes over to Niski, which is nice.
I think it's
start
better.
delivering it. Yeah.
Exactly. Having that Rek'Sai be fed early is great, but giving that kill over to the Cassiopeia, late game insurance there. Seraph kind of plays that as best he could without Flash. And then Moon takes some extra turret shots. This is where they should have backed off instead of done any damage to the turret. But at that point, they didn't have the knowledge that Lyra was coming, and it's kind of that gut feeling where you're like, all right, we can hit this turret, and then that sinking feeling comes where, wait a second, where's the Cassiopeia? And he gets there with Ghost, too. So those are things you don't always take into your calculations when you're saying he could be here or here, but he's really actually ghosted in Fog of War and has actually accelerated or gone faster than you anticipated.
All right, so Packages back in the game. Aya's picked his up. Very small-ish to Leo wall effect that High can have.
What are you saying about the package?
Are you talking about High's package?
What? No. Anyway.
Triforce built up onto him, so he actually has hit quite a big spike here just around 15 minutes into the game. Niski's going to have to be much more careful in these fights.
Yeah. Looking for Seraph, who doesn't have Flash, but Lyra playing to that top side. And I like how they've avoided the bottom side. Like, Lyra is pretty much only set up on the top side and has been clearing that out. So it's been efficient use of his jungle path, but at the same time, there's an Infernal Drake on the table, and this may be like one of the the longest times that a game has gone with an Infernal Drake up that nobody's even been around that area as a jungler to really look at it. Because it's just this top lane matchup, right?
That's what I was going for. It's top.
You think about like Kennons when they get behind, you're like, man, this is a useless champion. When Jace gets behind, it's a useless champion. They're both trying to make the other top laner useless here, and it's just this back and forth.
Each still has a little effect to their name. Obviously, Seraph has been getting good damage in. Those shock blasts will do quite a bit without seeing much armor across the board or much armor to be built across the board for this team.
Yeah, the Jace build got a little augmented to Blade of the Ruined King first item and then Black Cleaver. In fact, you actually don't feel that great as Jace anymore if you're split pushing and you don't have Blade of the Ruined King.
Right.
Gives you a lot of sustain, makes it so that your W is incredibly effective even against tanks. When you can just stack that up with all of those really fast shots back and forth, the hypercharge. But yeah, FlyQuest now on this Drake. And you can see Envy are trying to collapse. FlyQuest need a little bit more damage on it.
Gonna go in, maybe a few more licks. Moon gets it, 1 flash, 1 net, and 2 flash to get over. Dragon is gonna be FlyQuest, but this also pulls a little bit of aggression here for Envy. Lemon Nation taking the scary route. He wasn't sure what footsteps he wanted. Lyra was using that Tremor Stand.
This game is pretty neck and neck right now in terms of the gold. It's very close, but you got to take into account that that's an Infernal Drake on a team that uses it across every member except for Lemonation. So the Rengar wants that. Everybody on this team is going to utilize it.
Oh,
A double Bilgewater Cutlass.
that's when it feels bad though, and you're Kennen and you're like throwing everything at the guy in lane and he's sitting there just waiting. You have to ult to make him get away. That's kind of the I'm even against my lane or below. If Kennen's ahead, you are able to just torture the other person.
Exactly. And that you could feel like even though Seraph is 0-3, that was starting to go Balls' way because it was played better by Seraph, but Seraph flashes away and the trade is High's TP. So High doesn't have that anymore. He went up there and canceled it immediately. But Seraph played that well. Moon looking at Lyra, who knows that he's spotted here, so gonna jump in.
Shining his light down onto Lyra. That's just gonna be a, we'll take this. We don't have enough control to do much more, but they do deny Envy getting that right.
Yep, Ball's on that top lane turret too. He's gonna be fighting. He doesn't have ultimate, he does have flash though.
Run away! There was the pressure though. Lyra's still bot side. Seraph's probably saying, do not worry about top. My teleport's up. His is down in any situation. I'll just break vision, be able to get to a play if they need to do so. Yeah. But since that kind of folly he has not really left the lane too much.
Yeah, the game isn't as clear cut anymore because before it was like, you got that top dive, Envy should focus top because Balls used his flash and you didn't. Then it just swapped over. It was like, focus top, just try to get something there. And the bot lane hadn't been very active, but now I feel like bottom lane is the place to hang out. Like, even though Rift Herald's up and there isn't a Drake, bottom lane is becoming a little more volatile as you hit one item spikes for the AD carries. And everybody kind of has a way to get in there, right? If the bottom lane of Envy is shoving with their Karma, you can have your Abyssal Voyage to deliver a jungler to the middle of the lane. And for Jhin to help somebody follow up and to get the root off means that it's great. And look at this, Ball's going to take first turret. In that matchup, that's supposed to be a counter matchup for the Kennen.
We say it about him as well. Even in the FlyQuest losses, Ball's still playing well, still having good games, and being a formidable force from that top lane. Bot lane is cleared as well, and 2 turrets of gold across the map. Look at the influx right there in the inventories. 2,700 just for the Kennen to use, and a few more thousand across the rest of the members here. Great synergy from both teams. It's really who's going to be able to capitalize. Looks like FlyQuest here if they can start to get that vision forward. It's actually another thing to touch on between these two teams. It's kind of the team who is putting up the best vision in Hakuo. Most average wards cleared. His pink wards a little lower, but Lemon Nation is lowest average wards placed and cleared. So you're kind of getting a disconnect in that. So maybe Envy can start using that vision game to find their way back in.
And there aren't going to be very many wards here from the jungler on both sides, actually. They've gone with different smites.
Very true.
Lyra, oh, that was good because he didn't go for the flash there. Normal Rek'Sai instinct is to flash as soon as you're in range of the AD carry. The Elimination gobbled him up, and that was really good from Lyra to just have the restraint. And I'm liking the build here, too. We're seeing many different Rek'Sai builds. I'm going to talk about Rek'Sai a lot, by the way.
Let us. Tell us about the Church of Rek'Sai.
The Warrior build is incredibly good, getting Warrior first. And also, notice that Lyra actually maxed his E first as well. When you have maxed E, you have the tunnels and you have the bite. So you have a lot of true damage, but also the tunnels, when you go through one or create one, it goes on a 2-second cooldown.
That shuts.
Right there, it's about to be up again, and then you can take it right out. So Rek'Sai's pattern got shifted from being this, you're in, you're tanky, be durable. You can build a little bit more damage now early and max the E and have a way to go in and then deal your damage and get out if things don't look great. And I really like that.
So still talking about him, what kind of becomes the caveat then with this new build? Where can you fall behind? What becomes kind of tricky with new Rek'Sai?
Yeah, you don't have Cinder Hulk, and if you go for if you go for Warrior, a lot of people go challenging smite because smiting somebody and making them deal less damage to you is like pseudo tankiness, right? You're more durable against that target in a skirmish, and you deal more damage. So that's kind of the trade-off, is you don't have as much HP, you don't have as much resistances early, so that's why people are buying like Titanic Hydra first with the Warrior, even though you think like, okay, what's the trade-off here? It's that you're much squishier early. Also, people swapped over to Fervor, right? Instead of running Courage of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Because it gives you so much true damage on your E when you
just start swinging.
Like, just for reference, I'll check right now. Lyra does 370 true damage with the E. And that's actually a decent amount there, especially when he stacks up Fervor. So once he gets Fervor stacked, it gets even higher. And it's pretty ridiculous once you hit that point. And it's so easy to get the true damage, too. You get 25 for everything that you hit when you're unburrowed. So unburrow, auto Q, and then another Q. That's it right there. And then you can E and hold on. Jhin opening up.
Curtain call. First one hits Balls, though, now outside of the stage.
Balls has ulti.
Looks like the show will continue. Seraph going a little too hard. The shield cannot save him from Hakuo. I think the damage shield got nerfed a little bit, maybe. But no, really coming into that play. Nice job by FlyQuest to close down onto Seraph. They do lose Wild Turtle, so it slows off what's happening on the top side. And Envy, again, trying to take vision back inside their jungle. Lyra's everywhere, back and forth. But it still seems like FlyQuest is being able to make these small hits in. What favor that plays for Envy is those small hits can also be attacked on. Nothing's happening with one turret, then two, and an objective.
Yeah, Wild Turtle went down, but Niski used both summoner spells to do so, and Wild Turtle didn't use any of his own. And I think that's worth, because Drake is about to come up. So Cassiopeia has no ultimate, and we'll talk about that in a second, but no ultimate, no ghost, no flash, easy kill target. And I think Wild Turtle saving his flash is actually the right play, even if he dies.
Hakuo going down.
Yeah, you'll see it here.
Play as well again.
He has opportunities to flash away here. Could have flashed there. The grounded comes out and he can at that point. but I still feel like Niski blowing both Summoner Spells and Ultimate is completely worth for Wild Turtle to save his own and save his life, because you're about to do the Drake, and you know this Cassiopeia that has a lot of gold for this team doesn't have mobility Summoner Spell.
You have a lot of guys that want to not jump on the back line, but can if they have that opening. Balls can make the move, but he's topside. That pressure being created, calling Niski up, a little safer for him with those summoners being down, and FlyQuest once again work the map, get themselves down to this dragon.
Yeah, it's always about kills and Summoner Spells and what's coming up next, right? If you blow your Flash and your Ghost to go after a single kill, and it's not even a team fight that's going to get you anything afterwards, like a turret, then it's definitely not worth it. You can see, even though Wild Turtle died, it's a sacrifice that changed and made it so they couldn't actually contest here. And I like that, chunking out Apollo.
And Lyra, you can actually see the non-tankiness, if you will, just from a few shots there. But yeah, the 1-2 hit on Apollo, usually you're only getting the ace in the hole, but with High being able to follow up, this becomes pretty scary. And it reminds me of the old comps we used to get when it was just poke. Everybody's forced to start the fight at 70% HP, and it's a real big toss-up.
Yeah, and FlyQuest composition looks really good right now. It's online. You have your split pusher in a better position with Phantom Dancer and Lifesteal. So the Kennen, I don't think Seraph can actually match this, being 2 levels down. And then you have this Rengar running around that can leap and scout for you and follow up. And then you have mostly magic damage from Corki, because he's 80% magic damage now on his auto attacks. And he has the rapid fire cannon, so great for sieges and poking. And then you have the Caitlyn for the setup of the siege. So overall, the composition from FlyQuest looks really good to push an advantage even further.
Flying under the radar. Only seen him a few times. Once the engages come to him, Ball's still in the side lane. Working a red buff this time. Should be wearing off quite soon, but definitely doesn't allow a Seraph to chase. And not even with that much vision, Balls is able to kind of hang out on the bot side of the map. They don't have much forward vision at all on the side of FlyQuest.
Like you said, he picked up the red buff. That was his own team's red buff. That's not him picking up a kill and getting it.
Yeah.
It was a conscious decision from FlyQuest, even though Wild Turtle was in the area, to give the red buff over to Balls. And you can see FlyQuest's game plan was to shut down Seraph and make sure that he can't actually win the split push here up against Balls. And it's working. You can see Balls almost level 15. Seraph still level 12.
So when do they take the fight? Really, when can Fly get the fight, and how long can Envy hold off?
Oh, I feel like it's too hard for you to start a fight. Envy's composition is built to kite backwards. What's their hard engage? Because even if you hard engage with like the Rek'Sai knockup, you get in there, but Elimination's going to eat that one person, because the Rek'Sai knockup is now a single person knockup. Everybody else who's in the radius gets knocked away.
Looks like there's a bit of a party system in the bottom now, thinking it's only Balls. It's going to be Moon waiting in the brush.
He's walking up for the ward.
Seraph got the ward, gets the flash. Ball's going to go a little bit deeper. That's not enough damage, though, coming from the ultimate. He's going to be able to get back onto Balls. Lyra's here waiting for the engage. The curtain call coming over from Wild Turtle to try and dissipate the fight.
Moon?
But Moon is going in. Moon gets himself a kill. And it's 2 for 1 there. 3 for 1.
3. Yeah. Lyra ended up getting the ultimate onto Balls, I believe, at the end there, and was able to pick him up on the backside. And that is actually a huge blunder by FlyQuest, because they're going to lose this top turret to some minions, I believe. Actually, no, he's not going to continue to do damage to it. What's the plan here from Envy?
We talked a little bit about, where are they? Oh, they're going to go right for Baron. They believe with the Cassiopeia damage, they can burn it down. They don't have the tankiest people. Repeated shields are going to try to keep them alive.
Lyra has to make his way there and not tip them off by his positioning. And there they go.
Well, it's already Lemonation with the knowledge of it. He's pinged it twice. They're going to try to go hard. A Peacemaker over the wall might be enough. Lyra's going to be able to dip in, dip out with a fast smite on this one as it goes just below 900 HP.
Nice.
And beautifully worked by Envy. All that vision in the jungle was able to see what was happening, and they routed the entire team of Fly. Also, Niski on the top side.
Yeah, High dodges that out, but Niski has both summoner spells, and it's just the Ghost and landing the Qs there. If you're going to flash anything, you flash the Q. But ends up doing it a little bit too late there, and High goes down.
Ooh. Ball's becoming super annoying now with the Frozen Mallet finish. He's still quite a level lead here, as he's quite a percentage up within
but
just a level over.
It's definitely not as massive as it was before. You want to talk about leads?
Of course.
Niski level 17 right now. He's been farming in the side wave and picking up so much here that he's now this big carry for the team. So Niski is the huge threat. Talk about late game Cassiopeia. He's level 17 when everybody else in the game is level 15. Nobody is 16.
Also looked at what Niski brought to the table in EnVy's losses yesterday was a lot of consistent play until he was completely focused, adapting a little bit more with the help of Hakuo, with the help of Lyra. Still focused quite hard, but keeping himself alive, playing the situations a lot better.
The guy came from Fnatic Academy over in the EU Challenger Series right after they had qualified for the LCS. So he has shown that he has the caliber to actually make it in. We're just seeing how good he actually is here. Because he is a rookie, right? We talked about Mike Young, rookie of the split.
Oh.
He's got competition here.
Let's see if Niski can get pretty flashy on this cast. Has already had some good petrifying gazes. Also taking out High in that 1v1 as he was bullied in the lane. Really playing the scenario well into its max potential. On the top side by himself, Lyra's just off on the wing, so should be safe in an extended fight, but FlyQuest is going to try to make EnVy march to the beat of their drum here as they start forcing down mid with Balls top.
Yeah, they're going to try to go for the siege, what the competition's built for. Balls on the bottom side, but you've got to watch out for Niski on the back side to the left of this fight. But FlyQuest would kite down towards the Mountain Drake here when they exit.
Niski slowly moving, trying to decide if he actually wants in on this. And he does. He's going to be walking over a ward. No turn here for FlyQuest as they start flashing away. Balls is just on the edge. Flashes down for the Kennen hit to stun bot and start the fight. And that would also be even very risky if they were to try.
I don't think I've ever seen a mid laner use their Ghost as frequently as Niski. He is constantly using that summoner spell for mobility, and for him it's 180-second cooldown, so it's 3 minutes long because he's taking insight in the
I remember back in the day
resolve tree.
when it would take Ghost, and I just used it to get back to lane when I first started playing. Such a good spell.
Back when Flash would break auto attacks mid-air,
Yeah.
those were the days, man.
That's when you felt like you could actually flash and live. 9-7 here. Dragon being picked up over on the side of EnVy, which helps as well. Slows down FlyQuest. Control of the objectives are on the map. And now we'll see if the wards can be pushed forward. As we said, Hakuo, the big name on that ward list for supports around the NALCS with his high average wards per minute, but the rest of the team participating on that.
Oh boy, this is one of those moments where High is pushing top lane. He did this the other day, kind of making Zed-like plays, but he was doing it on Malzahar. This time he's doing it on Corki. A little bit better because he has the Trinity Force, but everybody's got Baron empowered recalls for the last 10 seconds here. And really, FlyQuest were in the driver's seat of this game. That bottom lane play where Balls was ahead and went too far forward. After Seraph flashed away from that slicing Maelstrom, he should have backed up. And that's kind of the big blunder there, is that Balls, we talked about how well he's doing, that was just a lapse in judgment.
Yeah.
Which gave EnVy so much, because they made an aggressive call with the Cassiopeia to take Baron.
Lyra probably feeling pretty confident as well at 5-0-2. Been able to control the game quite well. And that was not a first pick or kind of a worry for FlyQuest here. EnVy was able to grab that Rek'Sai on blue side as they came around. It was the Caitlyn that Wild Turtle wanted. So see if they can get that to scale up the priority of kind of having a little poke AD/AP. But if EnVy keeps engaging in these fights, there's no way to whittle down.
EnVy have given up their bottom and mid side of the map here. Wild Turtle's going to get some damage on the middle turret and then kite away. Didn't actually set up traps in the choke point. Interesting, I don't know if he had them.
Very interesting positioning here. Wild Turtle taking at least a few shots, but this also slows Moon down. This is the helping situation where somebody becomes too much of a caboose and they might get taken out.
Yeah, but
and they might have gotten flanked by Balls too, so it looks like EnVy holds off.
Balls is like backing and like canceling it over and over again because that turret is so low, it only takes a few more auto attacks. What EnVy were doing was trying to look for a fight because High is topside. And now they get mid-priority themselves, and EnVy will be able to push that down.
Still kind of waiting. So, yeah, Seraph going to push up all the way. Will I take this? I mean, with him off the map, he's also creating pressure.
Yeah.
Because they can't see him. So it's kind of twofold.
He's going to try his luck.
Instant Abyssal Voyage. Flashes over that. Quite easy to get away from the Kennen once it's telegraphed a little bit in, but now Fly has to make something work on the top side here.
Look at the turret, though.
Yeah, it was low enough.
Yeah, the Abyssal Voyage with Wild Turtle inside gets them their rotation that they want, and so that gets them a turret. And this is so interesting because FlyQuest are playing a 1-3-1 style and trying to rotate with Tahm Kench to make their picks. When they could very well siege and kind of avoid engages, but it's a higher variance play, right? You might get more off of setting up with the Caitlyn traps and going in and like hitting turrets, but this is just a slower style that'll get you turrets like every now and then. So I like seeing that they aren't taking as many risks, but they got to utilize their teleports. We haven't seen High and Balls really utilize those summoner spells just yet.
4 to 4 in turrets.
And you got to watch out, because it's 4 to 4 in turrets right now, and so we're definitely in that mid game where Cassiopeia now has a Mountain Drake and Baron in 45 seconds. And that's the fear here for FlyQuest. Does FlyQuest compositionally have a slight advantage in siege situations? But Envy have the late game here. They have the Jhin, which I actually think has rather good late game now with the big crits, if you can actually have a way to actually get that range off. But they have a Caitlyn, right? So Wild Turtle is kind of the insurance on that side. The Cassiopeia is the big one. Gonna hit those 6 items very soon. This is very quick for 6 items here. You can see how much further ahead he is over High at the moment.
It is pretty ridiculous. About 2,400 gold alone. A clear item. And he's already putting stacks on that seal, which is a little return on investment as well. Where's the play here? Envy just had their wards cleared. 3 pink wards on the side of FlyQuest. Ward washed away. So this is getting back into dangerous zone. They'll make sure they get some shoulder wards out to the left and Raptor side. Does not look like that is the possibility. It's about what's happening in the side lane. If Seraph or Balls can make an advantage happen, this game swings. It can open up immediately here with the way the minions and these lanes are positioned.
That split push hasn't really been online at all. Balls is sitting on 1,800 gold himself right now, so could complete his next attack speed item. Unsure what it would be. Possibly Runaan's Hurricane if he's looking for some team fighting. But he's up above Seraph by a decent amount now.
Seraph just getting his death dance.
Yeah, double lifesteal build here to try and duel, but he's down 2 levels and he's really just been suffering this whole game. Like, you look at the score lines, he's 5 of his team's 7 deaths. So Seraph really got bullied in the early game. They tried to kind of twist a dagger in the top lane after they got the first blood on Balls, but it kind of got turned around. It ended up being a better play from FlyQuest overall.
Quite a bit of damage. And nicely played. But yeah, they were able to continuously attack him as well. Seraph thought and Balls almost played that to I'm kind of weak in this lane situation too. Was getting a lot of fights, making it look like Seraph would take that, and Moon was always there.
Yeah, pretending to be like a wounded animal. Wounded hamster. And Niski top though. And now High's actually getting wrapped around on Lyra here too.
First jump is out. Does he decide to ult? He does not. So does that connect you? You follow all the way?
Hold on.
As Seraph goes down once again, getting caught through. Good eye. Now it's going to be Envy rotating away. Fly gets control of Baron, but they don't want to stop fighting.
They want to chase him down because Balls has split push right now. If you stop Envy from backing and poke them out, you have to make them deal with Balls, who will have extra minion waves. And that means you either get this bottom inhib turret, or you can make a play for Baron. You could possibly do both here.
Possibly do both is on the plate. It looks like they're going to try to spread Envy very, very thin.
Yeah,
the Cassiopeia damage is not here for the fight. Opening up the curtain. It looks like they're going to wait beautifully on this. Good communication by FlyQuest, but how much damage did they take from Baron before they actually get the fight? High hit a big one right onto the team of Envy, which slows them down a bit, and that is Seraph going down. Finally, as well as Balls in this fight. Seraph was already down. Looked at the wrong side, but good job by Niski to relieve that pressure. There's only more coming, though. Yeah,
Niski, as soon as he starts making a play for that bottom side of the map, he doesn't have teleport. There's no way he's making it to the Baron. So that means, or at least indicates, that they're going for a steal, right? Lyra can't get the steal, but he doesn't die doing so. And now they set up the Elder Dragon here. Moon is in the area, though, right there. They're not going to have High. This is a 4-on-5.
What's the burst, though? Do they have enough damage to hit it? They do. Lyra grabs it for the team. The one Elder Drake. Buff going on to them here. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left onto the Baron. So this will help a lot to start clearing it out, especially for Seraph, especially for Apollo.
Yeah, but FlyQuest already have prepped waves. They have the Baron buff. They have pushing bot, mid, and top. So they should be able to pick up this top tier 2, and that'll be their last tier 2 that they can pick up here. Give them a gold lead.
Wow.
Yeah, just popped. Energizer builds, man. Having the rapid fire cannon plus the static shiv.
Crazy.
High's about to complete his static shiv as well.
all the attack speed. Another recurve bow for Ball.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Probably Wit's End.
Yeah. Awesome. Haven't seen it in quite a while. And see this fight again, Niski.
The stun there. The stun was crucial. If that stun didn't go off, then Niski actually probably loses that. So if Balls was able to outplay, then
keep autoing.
Would have been able to, but doesn't matter. Niski gets the stun with the Petrifying Gaze. Yeah, that's been this game. People are going back and forth with this gold lead.
I want to ride that ride.
It needs a loop in it, man. I really like loops.
You know, we might get one out of this game.
Yeah.
Not sure what it looks like. We got time. We got some time. Baron with a minute and a half. Elder Drake wearing away as well.
Yeah,
EnVy was able to kind of strike with it very quick. High just working off the ball. Needs to be respected at the top side.
Exactly. Has the package, so he feels 100% confident pushing up. Wild Turtle's trap line not exactly where he wants it to be, so he needs some assistance pushing and then being able to actually set up again. But yeah, Elder Dragon's about to wear off. And that'll mean this Baron buff for another 50 seconds here is really good for FlyQuest to start threatening all 3 lanes. They got that 1-3-1 going right now.
Yeah.
Wild Turtle set up some traps. And this is where it really starts to hurt because EnVy, nobody on this team can tank these traps except for possibly Lyra, but there's already a Last Whisper for Wild Turtle who respected the fact that Lyra does have some armor items.
Yeah, when you're that far ahead, you can just start getting tank items before you really need to.
Yeah.
This late in the game, however, obviously you expect to see them on the junglers. Turtle, very low. Looks like the Abyssal Voyage will put Lemon between Turtle and the rest of the team. A meat wall with Moon. High is just hanging out up here, being a nuisance. This is one of the toughest things. It just makes you pull your hair out. You think you're getting good engages, but things around you are falling down.
I mean, you and I have actually both played simultaneously with High. And the way he micromanages a team, these are his strongest situations.
It is true.
Is when his team is in a 1-3-1. He will tell you when to walk up, when to back off, exactly what he's doing. And he basically plays chess with the pieces when you're in this exact position and everybody is on the doorstep pushing up the minion waves.
It's a chess checkers because there is a definite king me in these plays when they go for it.
Exactly. He's like, all right, I got that top. Actually, it's sorry, random aside. It is actually a Rage Blade for Balls in the top lane with the on hit. So not going for the Wit's End. Feels like there isn't really enough of a magic damage threat except for Niski on this team to really warrant that buy. So I like the Rage Blade here. It's going to help him out a whole bunch. And it really spikes your damage because when you're working with an auto attack damage dealer, you kind of get a mental idea of, oh, he hit me for this much on that last attack. So he's going to hit me for the same amount consistently unless he crits. But this just throws that completely off and adds in even more damage every other auto.
It's so great, too, because when you're split pushing, you are basically always autoing. You can kind of hover that auto, be like, oh, minion wave's coming, one, the guy comes up to you, and you're fully stacked, ready to fight.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that it's a Runaan's Hurricane, too, stacks that Kennen W up so quickly that you get all that bonus AD on that next attack, too.
So much synergy.
Yeah, it's a lot of synergy. The on-hit build, we don't always see it work out incredibly well, but this is one of those games where there's a possibility that this really just takes the cake here. And you can see High. He said, all right, we pushed up top lane. Cassiopeia had to deal with that. Now let's go push bottom. And there's no answer there. That's 2 inhibitors down from EnVy.
And they're doing it methodically, right? You don't try to take down mid. It's easier to guard mid to bot, much closer. You go top to bottom. Then when there's nothing else, if you need to, you drop down mid. So still keeping the method to the madness and not saying, hey, we're so far ahead, we can just do this.
Exactly. You control mid, but then you actually look at the side lanes because you need to be able to control mid for rotations just in case something goes off.
Right. Make him go the long way around, all the way. Oh. Good shields. Still seeing it do a bit of have a bit of effect, I should say, from that Karma mantra late game. Looks like a slow push on the bot side as High as creeping the minion wave up. He will at least proxy it before it gets too far out. Pressure over to the side of Balls, which means they're just going to actually give a little bit of breathing room here for a second. Mid's not fully pushed to try and take it.
And you can see this 1-3-1 keeps pulling Niski away from team fights. EnVy have not had a team fight that involves this Cassiopeia in a very long time. I actually cannot think of one that had all 5 members of the Cassiopeia involved.
Yo Moose is promising.
They're trying to dive on the bottom lane here and trying to actually catch out High.
Oh, looks like he's gonna get blown up immediately, but that gave an opening to the back line. It didn't seem like everybody wanted it. Moon went in by himself, gets devoured up. Turtle is able to take mid lane, but still losing something. Fly gains something, and they have so much to lose before they are really even behind.
Oh, Turtle gets caught out.
Hurts a little bit more here. Cracks the shell wide open. We'll see what this timing is. Coming up on a Baron, 30 seconds. Actually quite big here.
Yeah, they get the teleport out of Seraph. Ball's in the top side of the map. How long does he hang out here? I actually don't know if he can beat Niski. Oh,
Peekaboo.
Run! 15 seconds on the Baron. High does have teleport. And they have to push all these waves out, and that's exactly what EnVyus are going to try to do.
We'll see this.
But yeah, they didn't have control there because that control ward, they didn't see what was going on, and High got caught out. Used the QSS, still gets hit up there.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just a great track down, but at the same time, Wild Turtle does get that mid turret. It does cost him though, and EnVyus are going to look at the Baron as Moon is backing. All right, we're in for the long haul, Riv. The team with Baron is the one that has inhibitors down, so it's harder for them to push out, so this Baron gets you to like the equal point.
Yeah, this is the farm it up.
Yeah, this is the buy 3 minutes and 30 seconds Baron.
There's actually a pretty fast change. I did just say FlyQuest has quite a bit to lose here. 3 or 4 fights, the game starts to even out, but this Baron pushed back, allowing your inhibitors to get back up. Could definitely make it turn much quicker. Mistakes now for FlyQuest will be a little different if the waves can even reach the river. Here, we see that they've still repaired it. All the super minions are still on EnVy's side of it. Not too much to worry about.
Yeah. And there we go, Niski. You saw him rub his hands together. He's ready for these fights. Got his last item.
You get that elixir
6
too?
builds.
Not
6
elixir
items.
yet.
Oh, not elixir yet. All right.
Almost.
He had one earlier. Hakuo has one. It's the support 6 items. Elimination now also at the classic support 6 items with your last slot being control wards. Has the Gargoyle Stoneplate plus the Locket of the Iron Solari synergy, so
yeah.
We'll be able to give a gigantic shield to his team. We'll see how that fares in team fights, but FlyQuest have just been avoiding team fights like the plague.
Ardent Sensor as well on the side, trying to keep Apollo or whoever is really doing some damage. A little bit of HP. Still 6-0 and 3 here. Turtle laying some great traps that might have got him caught by a deadly flourish there, as EnVy looked to catch him out.
And you can see the side waves are trying to push. The 1-3-1 from FlyQuest, they're still trying to kind of spread this Baron out. And because EnVy don't have solid engage tools, a hard engage, a long range engage, or anything like that, it means that it's going to be so hard for them to press an advantage or press this Baron buff at all.
Very, very close for the bottom inhibitor to be up in a pretty decent wave positioning, as Niski will have it just across the river. The next plan is, we've been in our base so long, when can we move the wards up? Wards that we can protect and get a return on investment on them. Because FlyQuest is going to be living in the side of EnVy's jungle pretty soon here once again. Bot lane, looks like it's going to be highs this time. They'll switch that up and send balls towards the top side.
Yeah.
A lot of bluffs being called here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because there's like no vision in these sides.
Right.
Like, if we were to toggle vision, you'd see that these jungles are just completely bare. Like, the vision is almost, you can't tell. The top side, who's going after balls right now? Is anybody going after balls? They have to count, like, right now and say, okay, it's Niski. We think that's all. But wait, there's Seraph, right? And so now he might actually be head off by the bottom lane here. There's Niski, pop the ghost again.
We'll have to see. This is crazy max speed.
Oh, he really wants to kill him.
Kennen. What will he be able to do? Flash the Petrifying Gaze. Definitely can't even take a few more hits.
Run!
The Q just misses, and that's pressure towards the top. The rest of the team was trying to fight bot. Lero wants to fight. A deadly flourish root onto Moon, and they may be able to turn this one. He breaks the CC, but it's 1,000 damage coming in from that final shot of Apollo, and they'll look to capitalize.
Yeah, they didn't get that top lane inhibitor, and Elimination actually went to the top side with Abyssal Voyage while Turtle was shoving mid. Balls got away, yes, but now your smite is down, and Elder Dragon is up in 3 seconds here.
See, well, they will move Elder 3, Baron 2. A resulting fight could really just wash both away. Or you would go for the turrets in the mid lane. Like we said, EnVy somewhat set up the waves.
It would be a while. To the top side and then reset. Might be looking to try and catch Seraph, but that's going to be an Elder Dragon going over, the second Elder Dragon of the game. And now the gold doesn't matter, Riv. Like, pretty much everybody except for
Right.
Seraph here, and looking around.
But it also
The 6 item.
becomes one of my favorite points in the game because this is what kind of, you don't get this moment much, but you have everything you need, right?
Yeah, I feel like
you
I
have
get this
all
moment.
the abilities, you need to hit it right. Summoners may be down or up, but you are at max potential here and you need to perform.
Oh,
this is the part I love about our game.
Yeah, when you get to the
Takes a
6
while to
item.
get here.
Yeah, I feel like I end up here more often than I want, but you know what?
In your games or casting?
Both. But this comes down to composition, the strength, the execution, and right now,
Yeah.
Envy, they're going to try to end the game.
Oh,
they
my
have
word.
a Jace, they have the Elder Dragon, they have so much damage to these turrets.
And they've called back both members of FlyQuest. They're on to the Nexus turrets. Fly needs to initiate, and remember, there's not much initiation from this team. That means Moon goes in. He
Niski.
gets all the shields. Niski's trying to stay alive. He is the main focus. Apollo on the back line, firing away. Another kill for him. Possibly a triple now on the balls, and he's going to fire down on that. 70 seconds on the clock. Lyra tries to get the kills, but Turtle is nommed up, and Seraph is forced to run away as Envy goes for broke and is forced to run.
Yeah, that ends up being a 4 for 3, with Wild Turtle elimination being the 2 survivors for FlyQuest, and Seraph being the only one here who barely makes it for Envy. And now they're going to try to return.
Top side. They don't even want this inhibitor. They want the minions on the Nexus.
Yeah, they're going to try to end.
They want to open something up. 44 seconds, 37 on the fastest, or 32 on the fastest when it's Niski. And this is Turtle elimination, trying to stave off Seraph.
The minions aren't there yet.
Oh, they're fighting a super. Now they get in range. They're going to have that reduction on the armor. The
Gotta go
turret.
Seraph, go Seraph.
Seraph is chomped up. He's going to be killed as soon as he
Got
comes
him.
out. And here it is. FlyQuest took them a little bit longer than they wanted, but they are able to find themselves on the Nexus. It's only Lemon. It's only Turtle. The bot lane perseveres here for the victory at 50 minutes in game 1 for FlyQuest over Envy.
You said it took a while. This is FlyQuest's first game win in 6 games. They had lost 5 in a row, and that's got to feel good there for Wild Turtle, who was talking about confidence being a bit low on the team.
A bit of a take back for a second. Hold your breath as High got pushed out with the rest of the team. We saw them micromanaging so well on the outside of the base, but they almost were too okay with how well they were doing. They didn't push in enough. Props as well to Envy for being able to stave off so much and then grab Barons and Elder Dragons after that. But FlyQuest definitely maybe finding that play style. Now need to fine-tune that end game, get those wins as they should have come quite earlier.
Yeah, that's such an interesting last few moments to look at, too, because it was a 1-3-1 setup, and you saw the teleport from balls to the bottom side to be like, all right, we have to go for broke, we have to go for these side lane pushes, get these inhibitors, and then they were actually okay with calling that off. We see so many hard commits where people go, well, we have to keep going, but, well, I guess our base is dead. They backed up to take a team fight, which hadn't really happened in that game in terms of no 5-on-5s. The first real 5-on-5 team fight of the game ends up with Wild Turtle on Caitlyn doing so much and pushing out a lot of the carries, and then Niski in a position where Balls was able to kind of lock him up, and Moon was also able to jump on him.
Well, they knew they had to jump on him, right? He was doing so much, at some point soloing out high. As we see this guy coming in, is he going to make an impact? Well, in a good game, in a bad game, he does. He can definitely have an impact. So Niski is somewhere to look at for Envy, that they can start bolstering even more in the mid lane. We saw that it paid off as FlyQuest went to go for a second-tier dive. Yesterday, we didn't see many people around the lane. Hakuo and Lyra were there this time for the help.
So far, my impression of Niski is that he's a good player. I just feel like he's taking a lot of resources, and then the team didn't have a composition to push it forward. So it's still very difficult for them to, I still feel like there's some issues from Envy. I don't think you're going to solve that from just throwing in a new player or a new champion in the mid lane. I feel like compositionally and structurally, they don't always make a lot of sense with their composition, right? You want something like a tank. Why is the Karma coming through? Is that something that's going to help you engage? If you have a playmaking support there, it's a little bit of a different game where when you have an advantage, you're throwing a Bard ulti, you're throwing a Thresh hook, right? And you're looking for picks.
And one of the things I liked right before we throw that you mentioned about Niski was he's making those plays. He's flashing forward and getting the kills. But what did that leave after with his flash down, with the summoner down? So it's what comes after it for the big plays that he is doing that also have to be looked at. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to Dash and Mark to see what they make on that FlyQuest win.
Thank you very much, Riv. I mean, a crazy back-and-forth game. We saw Envy inches away from ending the game themselves before FlyQuest wins the final fight, pushes all the way back down mid lane. Let's take one more look at it. these closing minutes here.
It did
of game
feel
one.
like EnVy was coming back into the game. They had gotten a Baron buff, they got their inhibitors up, they get this Elder Dragon, and it looks like they're finally going to end the game. They focus, they do a good job of not tunneling on trying to end the game. They try and kite out, they focus down Moon, but they are still pretty split up. Niski misses that ultimate, which exposes them to the rest of FlyQuest. So they're able to focus them down early, and then with the Cassio down, they're just lacking enough damage stress to match up against FlyQuest, because Turtle this whole time is untouched. And you see, last second Lyra tries to make a move onto him, but there's a lack of focus as Seraph is kiting out, and now Lyra is jumping in. And it was the kind of case where if Niski had been able to kite out Moon a little bit better, if his ult had landed on the backline, maybe he can just go kill them straight up. But neither of those things really happened. And then once your mid lane Cassio's dead, it's kind of hard to win that fight.
We saw Apollo pick up the triple kill. That's about all he can do in that late game team fight. He ends up going down while Turtle's still up. You got a late game Caitlyn with 45+ second death timers. Easy trip down to the other side of the map to close out the game for FlyQuest. But let's be real. I don't think either team is happy with how game one turned out.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, even though the victory fell in favor of FlyQuest. And so I want to dive into this matchup. Of course, we saw the Corki in the mid lane. That's going to be a huge pick for High. It was a huge pick last spring. Fell out of the meta. Now that it's back in, I can see him on that pick pretty much every time it's available to him. But that's where I want to talk about Niski in the mid lane, because Irene and Riv talked about it a little bit there. Individually, he's having a totally fine, debut here. We talked about it, into some degree similar to Mike Young, where the dude is performing on an individual level. But how he best serves the team doesn't yet seem to be figured out yet.
There were definitely some obvious differences between the two of them, where when Pyrion was in, he played Talia and Ari, and that's mostly it. But what he did well was he met up with Lyra, and they affected side lanes. And Niski, while you can say he's playing a better champ pool in terms of its just individual strength, he does take more resources. Lyra comes mid a little bit more. And then the big thing is, in the mid game, Pyrion just played Talia and would wall off objectives and make it really easy for EnVy to force them, or they could get to Seraph while he's split pushing. Much harder to do on a Cassio pick to do those kinds of things, and it feels like EnVy's somewhat resurgent mid-game that we saw really early on in the split is back to what we saw last time.
And I think part of the problem is that they can't cover for that lack of tools in any other lane. You still have Seraph going for picks like the Jace, which is like, okay, great, if he gets ahead and he's a split push threat, fine, but you can't die 6 times, have no tools to engage a fight, or to take an objective like with the Talia wall. So while they, I love the fact that Niski's coming in and he's got some of those champions that fit more towards the center of the meta, but again, you have to be able to then adjust the rest of the team around him.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at basically this somewhat warrior build, Bruiser, Rek'Sai is your only real frontliner. The Karma as well has fallen out of the meta for pretty obvious reasons. You saw a little bit of it here. Its overall game impact is pretty diminished now that the laning phase is not nearly as dominant on it with all the changes that we've gone over multiple times.
Yeah.
So you just saw that in the late game. It didn't do much, but hopefully sped people out or into a fight. And then once that's done, like a Tom Kench bringing someone in for backup tends to be a lot more impactful.
I mean, in this game, it started out in typical EnVy fashion. 11 minutes in, we have a 3-for-0 in favor of EnVy. All the kills going over to Lyra. Of course, he's involved in anything early action-wise within a game of League of Legends. But even after this fight, we don't have to break down how the kills came through. After this fight, they're still showing a tremendous inability to close out games and push advantages. And if I'm going to point to anyone in this game, it's got to be Seraph, who had 6 deaths, 3 assists, no kills, pushing that 50-minute mark.
And it all started with Lyra making about a 4-minute, 3:30 dive on the top side, killing the Kennen with the Jace and the Rek'Sai, and that's great for the Jace. He should win that matchup. He goes back and dies 2 more times before 10 minutes, I believe. Might have been right after, but from there, he just became ineffective in the side lanes. We saw the same issue happen against Echo Fox when he was up against Looper, the same matchup, and it feels like that's why, he needs so many resources, because he knows when the enemy team comes to gank him, he's not the type to be already playing safe. He plays aggressive, and you need to play around him a little bit more.
I mean, let's imagine you have 6 deaths. Let's imagine that each of those deaths averaged out to 30 seconds of time dead, right? Right there, that's already 3 minutes worth of time that you're playing a 4v5. That's not considering that he's going to have to make a trip from the fountain out to a lane just to return to the map. So now that 3 minutes is more like 6 minutes. You just played a game without a top laner for 6 minutes? Are you kidding me? With an advantage? And I think that's what we're getting towards with this EnVy squad, is that great, you can build the lead, but just because you have the lead doesn't mean you can disrespect your opponents or put yourselves in a position where you hand things back and lose all that map pressure, because if there's one thing that's true to FlyQuest and High in particular, is that if you give them map pressure, they're pretty good at sustaining it.
Their 1-3-1 for the most part was really good over the course of this game. The fact that they took all of the inhibitor turrets, they had 2 inhibs down at different points. It just that they kind of got caught off a little bit too much in the side lanes. And a lot of that was due to the fact that Envy was being aggressive. You saw Niski flashing in, trying to make sure he killed the Kennen. And then the Jhin is actually a great pick for sniping people out in long lanes. He can sit in the base and kind of, in a sense, collapse onto a side lane without ever needing to commit to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have to mention Wild Turtle picks up player of the game here. Not an easy decision in all truthfulness, because it didn't really feel like anyone played exceptionally well in this game. But when you're the 6-item Caitlyn in the final team fight and you position well enough to get the damage out and then ultimately close out the game, you're going to receive player of the game.
Yeah, it's the kind of game where you don't get here without a lot of mistakes on both sides. We got here, and it goes to, Turtle being able to pick this hyper-scaling Caitlyn and get to the late game, and then eventually, like you said, close the game out in that last fight.
All right, well, here we have it. Series is 1-0 in favor of FlyQuest at the moment. We're headed for a break. When we return, it's Game 2 between Envy and FlyQuest. You're watching the North American LCS.